You're driving on the highway. Traffic is moving just fine. No accident, no construction, no reason to slow down, and then brake lights. You stop, you crawl forward. And a few minutes later, you're moving again, and there was nothing there, no cause at all. You just sat in a traffic jam that didn't exist. Today, we're going to build one from scratch and find out where it comes from. This is a perfectly circular road, 24 identical cars. Every driver wants to go exactly the same speed. There are no intersections, no traffic lights, no slow drivers, and no obstacles of any kind. In a perfect world, they should circle forever, evenly spaced, like the hands of a clock. Let's see what actually happens. One driver, just one, taps the brakes. Maybe they glanced at their phone for half a second. The car behind has to brake a little harder to keep a safe distance. The car behind that one harder still. And a few cars back, someone comes to a complete stop. Watch. A wall of stopped cars just appeared out of a single tap. Nobody did anything wrong. There is no obstacle, and yet the jam is completely real. Now watch the jam itself, not the cars. The cars are all still moving forward, but the jam is moving backward. It drifts against the flow of traffic at a strange, stubborn speed. About 15 kilometers an hour, and it's nearly the same on real highways. Cars pour into the front of the jam and stop. Cars trickle out the back and speed away. The jam is a wave. It isn't made of cars, it's made of the gaps between them, and like any wave, it travels. On this loop, the wave never dies. It laps the track again and again forever. On a real highway, it drifts backward until it finally reaches the very last car and clears. But by then, another wave has usually already been born up ahead. This is the accordion. Squeeze, release, rippling backward through thousands of cars who will never know why they stopped. So why doesn't this happen every single time you drive? It comes down to one thing: how crowded the road is. With few enough cars, you can tap the brakes all you want. The disturbance just fades away. The road absorbs it. The system is stable. But add just a few more cars, past a hidden threshold that scientists call the critical density, and everything changes. The exact same brake tap that vanished a moment ago now grows and grows until the entire road seizes up. There's no warning. One car too many, and a free-flowing highway turns into a parking lot. And here's the cruel part. A road actually carries the most cars when traffic is flowing smoothly. Push it past that critical point, which is exactly what happens at rush hour when everyone arrives at once, and the flow doesn't just slow down. It collapses. A jammed road delivers fewer cars per minute than a free one. The moment you need the road's capacity the most, it quietly disappears. Now some jams really do have a cause. A lane closes. A truck slows down on a hill. Here's a stretch of road where cars are forced to crawl, a real bottleneck. A jam forms here too, but notice the difference. This jam doesn't move. It stays locked to the obstacle with cars piling up behind it. That's an honest traffic jam. It has a reason. The one we built before had no reason at all. It appeared out of nothing and wandered backward down the road like a ghost. That is why they're called phantom jams. So where do phantom jams really come from? From us. From the way we drive. When drivers follow too closely, tailgating, impatient, reacting late, every tiny wobble gets amplified. A tap becomes a brake, becomes a full stop. The jam is our collective overreaction, echoing back down the line. But watch what happens when drivers simply leave more space. The same road. The same cars, the same brake tap, but now each driver has room to absorb the wobble instead of passing it on. The jam can barely form. Keeping your distance isn't just safer, it literally dissolves traffic. And that leads somewhere surprising. You don't need everyone to drive perfectly. On this jammed road, we let just one car in 5 hold a smooth, steady speed the way an automated cruise control can, that's all. A handful of calm cars refusing to stop and go, and the wave dies. The stop and go smooths into steady flow. This isn't only theory. Engineers proved it on a real test track in 2017. A few automated cars can iron out the jams for everyone behind them. But you don't have to wait for self-driving cars. You can be one of those smooth cars today. It comes down to 3 simple things. Leave a bigger gap to the car in front so you have room to glide instead of brake. Ease off the gas early instead of slamming the brakes late. And don't tailgate, because every time you do, you are the one amplifying the wave. Drive smoothly, and you personally weaken the jam for every single car behind you. And once you learn to see this pattern, you start to see it everywhere. A crowd surging toward a single exit, crushing at the front for no reason anyone can point to. A stock market where one nervous sale triggers a cascade of panic selling. A supply chain where a tiny bump in demand explodes into wild swings further up the line. Engineers even have a name for that one, the bullwhip effect, all the same shape. A small local overreaction amplified into a system-wide collapse. The phantom traffic jam is one of the purest examples of a strange and unsettling idea. That a system can fail without anyone failing. No villain, no broken part. Just ordinary agents following reasonable rules a little too closely, and the whole thing collapses on its own. So the next time you're stuck for no reason, staring at a sea of red brake lights, maybe you'll see it for what it really is. Not a mistake by any single driver, but a wave passing through on its way backward down the road.